Is the internet really not neutral anymore? What's up, guys? TJ here with another video. If you like these types of videos, please like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Also, hit that bell icon so you can get notifications whenever I release new videos. All right, so I made this video to talk about net neutrality and what that means to us on the internet as a whole. I haven't really done too much like extensive research into it. I've read a lot of the articles that have come out. I've seen a lot of the news on television talking about it. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos talking about it. I just want to give my take on it and, you know, just let you all know how I feel about net neutrality as a whole. So I didn't know anything about net neutrality until it was about to be, you know, done away with, which a lot of times, you know, they have this thing on a lot of social media sites where they tell you to stay woke. And I guess I wasn't woke because I hadn't heard about it. And I do believe that the repeal of the net neutrality does end for a reason. And the guy that's over the FCC now, which was a Trump appointed person, you know, he really thinks that this is going to be the way of the future in terms of getting, you know, where we need to go with the internet as a whole. So apparently prior to 2015, when net neutrality was adopted, there was a struggle with the internet, I guess because the internet had been growing so rapidly and they didn't really understand exactly how to govern over the internet, because there's so much information being exchanged, and you know, the government, they always got to have control and everything. But there was a struggle, and the net neutrality provided us as consumers, us as users, the most protection against any sort of practices that could put us in a negative direction. So what is net neutrality? Net neutrality is the internet's guiding principle. It preserves our right to communicate freely on the internet. So what does that mean? That means I can sit here and talk to you about ongoing legislation, and I can talk to you about toys, or I can talk to you about doing a mukbang, eating, you know, a triple whopper with cheese on the internet. You know, I'm free to do that, and you're free to watch it. It enabled and it protected free speech on the internet. But what does it mean for a repeal, or what does it mean when these laws have been taken down? You know, a lot of people will argue that these laws weren't in place prior to 2015, but a lot of people don't realize the struggle that was happening up until that time. I can remember a time when I had Comcast. I'm not afraid to talk about it, but I had Comcast for years and years and years here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and for a long time they was the largest broadband provider, you know, in this area. And they progressively had gotten worse and worse. Now the internet speeds were super fast, you know, but the customer service wasn't there, and then they would hike up the price. And you know, at one point I was paying like $300 a month for internet and my television, and it was just, ain't nobody got time for that. So EPB, which is the local utility around here, it's the Electric Power Board, they actually put in an extensive fiber network. And this fiber network, you know, everybody started getting it, but everybody couldn't get it at first because, you know, they was just building the infrastructure for the fiber network. So once they got the fiber network pretty much across the valley, Chattanooga was actually known as the Gig City because we had the fastest internet in the United States at one point in time. Well, you know, fast forward to now, or not fast forward to now, but fast forward to about 2 years ago, Comcast, me and Comcast had this big, you know, huge debate, and, you know, I was looking for a way to get out. So I didn't want to switch over to EPB because it was so new and so fresh, and I didn't really know if it was going to be a good move. But it come to find out it was the best move that I could possibly make, because I was able to go to a company that was new and fresh and was looking out for me. you know, they was wanted the new customers. So of course they're going to have excellent customer service. Of course they're going to do extra things, and they're going to charge all these, you know, fees that Comcast had started charging and start doing. It was at one point when I was with Comcast, I would call them about an issue I had. They actually charged my debit card like 9 times for a bill, and they wouldn't give my money back, you know. And I would call Comcast and I would wait on the line for 2.5 hours. And then after that 2.5 hours, when somebody finally came on the phone, of course they was overseas, and they would hang up on me. And then I would have to call back, and I would go into the store. They couldn't help me there. They told me I had to call the 1-800 number. It got so ridiculous that, you know, it was just, I wanted to pull my hair out. And I don't have that much hair. But, you know, it just had got to that point where I was so annoyed. It's like I didn't even want to deal with it, you know. And so I was just going to do away with the internet at all. So anyway, I moved to EPB. Everything's been great. My pricing is great. Customer service is great. If I need them to come out to the house, they come out real quick. But what I did notice was a lot of talk of throttling. So, you know, what is throttling? Throttling means that where you once had, you know, 50 Mbps, megabytes per second, or you have 100, the broadband provider prior to 2015 could throttle you. They could turn your speed down. They could say, you know what, we don't want you looking at Google, so we're going to turn your speed down to 2 Mbps, and the website is going to be so slow that you're not even going to want to open it. You're not even going to want to try to open it. They could actually block websites, you know, if they wanted to. Or they could block a service. They could block Netflix. They could make Netflix slow, and then you won't be able to like Netflix and chill and stuff. But what the whole thing is, that not necessarily saying that that's what they're going to do, but without these net neutrality laws, they can do that, you know. And a lot of these big companies have the propensity to do things that aren't in the consumer's best interest, you know. You know, if we're going to be frank about it. So that's one of the biggest things. And so when Pi, I guess that's his name, when he was talking about it, you know, he was so passionate about that this is the new wave of the future. This is going to get a whole, going to provide an opportunity for other broadband providers to come in and provide a healthy marketplace for broadband carriers. But I mean, is there like a line of potential broadband companies that want to make, you know, internet infrastructure or something that I don't know about, you know? So that's one of the biggest things, is that he's not really giving the facts showing, okay, because of this, and this, you know, we're losing 50 companies a day that could potentially come into the market and provide competition for those broadband carriers that we have right now. So I think that's the biggest problem with the government right now and the FCC, and why everybody is so appalled that they've taken this right. So we had all this protection, and now you've taken all this protection away with zero explanation, and also without a plan moving forward. So what does that mean? That now they can just do whatever they want to? Now, of course, a lot of the companies I've seen, AT&T, Comcast came out and said something. EPB actually came out and said, you know, that they're neutral and that they want to keep the internet open for everybody. Of course, they're going to say that now. I mean, you know, they're going to say that to their customers because they want to keep their customers, you know. But I do believe that this is a time, because right now, the way things are going, we have control over things. Even though we don't necessarily have as much control as we should have as Americans, I do feel like we do have control to make change. And I've done my part to make change for not only this issue, but other issues that I've seen go on. I mean, pretty much that's all you can do. You know, you can do your little part just to make a change. So I'm going to leave a link in the description section below. It's going to give you all the information you need to do something about this, because we don't want to lose the open internet. Because what, you know, losing the open internet is going to look like see what I'm talking about? See, nobody wants to do that. Well, I mean, why we got to even go through that? So get on that link, do what you need to do if you feel like it's something that you need to do. And I wish I had all the answers. I wish I had all the facts. Of course, apart from looking at the laws that we have right now, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't really, a lot of the laws are written where common people like us can't really interpret them as well as a lawyer could. So looking at it, it looks like they've taken out all the protection, and I just don't feel like it's right to take the protection. Like, why are you taking the protection? Like, I don't understand how that taking away the protection of the net neutrality that it provided is going to allow other companies to come in and be competitive. You know, I don't see the data. Where's the data showing that, you know, these specific laws have cut this many people or this many companies from wanting to become a broadband carrier? I mean, I just don't see it. I don't see the information out there, you know. So anyway, that's all I got to say. That was my rant for today. I plan on doing these rants a couple times a week. You know, I got a lot to say, and I think I'm going to call it What Had Happened Was. And what I will do also is put a blog post alongside this. It's going to be on my website, www.tjlovelady.com. Check it out. I really appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks, guys.